Jim, your linebackers understandably get a lot of the attention, but I wanted to ask about the defensive line and what specifically you've seen them do well, particularly in the run game, to allow the numbers that have happened as good as they've been.
Yeah, the defensive line's been extremely physical all year long. I think taking a big step forward as far as just recognition, right, as far as backfield sets and things like that, tighten up their angles a little bit to be more downhill, more aggressive, and it's helping out a ton, right? They're cutting a lot of plays off. They're being disruptive. Now the next step for them is finishing some. You know, they've had some opportunities to get some TFLs, and it might still be a TFL, backers making plays, stuff like that, but they've had some opportunities they've missed in the backfield. But love the physicality that they're playing with, and like I said, just a little bit more awareness than they've had in the past. And you know, some of that's on the guys, some of that's on the coaching, and just like what they're doing right now, playing very consistent.
Just wondering, from your perspective, y'all faced Bell, y'all faced Dotson. It seems across the league there are a lot of good wideouts this season. From your perspective, just what stands out about this year's crop of receivers around the Big Ten?
Yeah, I think there are some really talented guys. We've faced a number of them. You know, they're high target guys. Teams moving them around, putting them in locations to get targets and create space opportunities for them. And it's fun to watch. Some of these guys, you see them work. Luckily, we don't play them every week. I'm talking that top group of guys. Like it's impressive to watch the production that some of those guys are having, and hopefully we can continue to keep them under wraps. We've done a good job of not necessarily eliminating a team's top target, but especially keeping him kind of at bay. And Dotson got free just enough on us to hurt us in week one and get the win.
Jimmy, you were on the team the last time this program did not go to a bowl game.
Thanks for the reminder.
Yeah, I suppose I could have started with the fact that you were also on the team when the streak started.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
maybe I should have started there. What does that streak mean? Can you put it in perspective?
I mean, consistency is all that you ask for in this business, right? From your players, the program, the support. So to have the level of consistency we've had as a football program, that speaks volumes to the people involved, the leadership, kind of all the way down to the players and the ownership from them. And really fun to be an alumni, right? Really fun to be part of the program again, and just to see the people, right? The messaging, the attitude about football and what it means to this state stay so consistent over time, and it's really a credit to all those involved. And it's a fun time to be a Badger, when you can continue that tradition.
I have a quick follow, but you played here, you coach here. What do those practices mean from a developmental standpoint?
They're always big for the young guys. Just extra opportunities to develop and grow. In some cases, these guys are scout players throughout the year, and kind of gets at least a group of practices where they can just focus on our defense, our offense, and not necessarily as scheme heavy, but just really focusing on kind of leading into spring, right? And snapping them out of being a scout, or what that role might be. It's an opportunity sometimes to get some of the older players out and recover the guys that got a ton of snaps. So when you take away some of your veteran players, you really see who kind of owns up those leadership roles and kind of, I think, tees up what the next season is going to look like. So it's invaluable for that young group of guys, or guys that are really close to making a breakthrough. And I think it helps them with their confidence going into the spring.
Jim, when Paul decided to bring in Poteet as the corners coach, he explained to us the reasoning why. And it appears that guys like Caesar and Fayon are playing well. Dean Ingram had a big play. Can you take us behind the scenes how it has worked out for you, taking that off your plate, both tangibly and intangibly, and why that has worked so far this year?
Yeah, I think the corner position, more than some, it's so technical, and there's so much film study that can go on. Just little indicators, whether it's formation, just studying receivers, right? Their releases, how they run, right? What they do at the top of routes. It's so much detail in that. It's not as much scheme driven. It's more individual, right? How do I see this, right? Because one corner is going to see it one way, and another one's going to see it another way. So it's more dialogue and conversation and one-on-one time, and having that extra guy, having Coach Poteet really be able to focus on that and really break down the game for those guys in a little bit different way than you have to do with safeties. I think it's invaluable for those guys. It's huge. They love it. I mean, it's just a ton of attention in creating a game plan week in and week out. And I think you're seeing them play with more confidence and consistency because of all that detail that it's just hard to do when you're coaching both and you have such a big room on top of coordinating and calling plays.
Jim, you've spoken before about the different styles of offenses that your defense has played throughout this year, especially this last month. Is it more week to week your players kind of resetting and learning a whole new thing, or just being able to take little elements from each week, knowing that they can kind of transfer from one team to another?
Yeah, we always try to build, right? We always try to build it together and get them to understand the consistencies from certain game plans. It might not be, back-to-back weeks, but consistencies from it might be a Penn State to this week. It's Army to last week because it was a little bit of the elements of triple option. You're always trying to build to where all those reps stack up, and it's not just starting from fresh. They understand that we are an adjustment defense. We're going to do things a little bit differently each week, and I think once your younger players, especially your veterans, get it, but your younger players, once they really understand kind of the certain issues that cause us to make certain adjustments or have particular calls in a game plan, I think they start to gain a lot of confidence as the year goes on because it starts to all come together for them. And I think that's happened right now. Our guys are playing confident. They're playing fast. They understand the issues each week, and they don't bat an eye. And I think that's why we're having a lot of success right now.
Jim, when you look at Keanu's individual stats, not a lot jumps out there. I'm guessing when you turn on the tape, that tells a different story. I'm just curious if you can quantify what he means to your defense.
Yeah, always difficult to quantify what a nose tackle means to your defense. To me, it's just disruption. You're not always going to get the production week in and week out, but how disruptive. How are teams blocking you, right? How many opportunities of getting one-on-ones in either the run game or the pass game are you allowed to have? Because obviously, if you're taking two, you're helping this defense out in a big way, and all of a sudden he gets an opportunity where he does get singled up on a pass and beats the center and gets a hit on the quarterback, and it causes a touchdown. And everybody sees that play and deserves a lot of credit for what we do. If you want to ask his impact, talk to the inside linebackers, right? Those would be the guys that can really put it into words probably the best, because when that guy in front of them is playing at a high level, it really allows them to free up and make a ton of plays. So I like what he's done. I mean, he's taken huge aspects of his game and improved in major ways from last year, and he's still not there. He's still got some things he's got to work on, but consistency, the mindset, the approach has been pretty good all year long.
Jim, Jordan Turner got that interception this past weekend. I know he's on the depth chart this week with Mike Mascalunas out. Just what have you seen from him in that room with that progression and how he's developed to make plays like that on Saturday?
Yeah, really excited about him. He had a great fall camp. Really felt like he had taken big strides forward and played early in the year. He's behind some really good players, so opportunities are not really high right now, but had an injury and then came back, and you can just see week in and week out gaining more confidence. And it's awesome to get guys like that on the field and just to get that experience. They'll build on it. He's a really smart football player. He understands our scheme and loves the physical part of football. And anytime guys get rewarded with playing time and get rewarded with production like that, it's always huge. And really excited for what he's going to bring this defense, and obviously what he did this past week. Just going to continue to grow, I think, as a football player, and excited for a number of young guys that we were able to get a ton of reps in that game and played fast, played aggressive, played physical football. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Jim, talking about Caesar's words, kind of paraphrasing just about November football makes champions, just touching on that, the fire that what kind of fire does that give you as a coach? And, how would you also add onto those words too about playing well in November?
November football is different. The urgency is there, and you have to do your job early in the season to make every week bigger than the next. And obviously we've put ourselves in a position where that's true. We have to handle our business. We got to go out there and get wins, and we kind of control what we need to control. So I'm excited for this group. We've had adversity. We've had some down times where guys were really looking in the mirror trying to figure out where we were headed, and love the response of our team. I think our staff, I like what we've been able to accomplish since we kind of had our back against the wall, and we have to continue to play that way. We have to have that edge and the urgency, and that's what November football is to me. I think everyone realizes the opportunities are less and less. Everyone's kind of knows who they are at this point, and not to say that you're the finished product, but I think everyone's kind of went through that process of figuring out what are we really good at, and you start to see game plans, I think, that are a little bit more consistent because teams know their playmakers, they know the issues that they're trying to cause, and I think you just see that consistency, and the players have to match it with the attention to detail and the urgency once they hit the field.
Jim, Danny Davis is a guy that's been practicing against your defense for going on 5 years now. Where do you think he's grown the most and maybe developed the most throughout his time here?
To me, I think I see with Danny just the understanding of coverage a little bit and the timing, right? When windows are going to open. He's always been a patient player, and I think the more that guys like that just learn, right, when they got to go, right, when the urgency has to be there, when that play speed has to be a little bit quicker, and when they can take their time. It's fun to watch guys make these plays, big time impact play last week, and hopefully continues to grow confidence off of it and causing issues. I like the way that receiver group's playing right now.
Jim, you've talked about Noah Burks playing really good football this year. I know his interception came early in the game and a lot of stuff happened after it, but what effect do you think it had on the game, given the fact that your offense had just given Rutgers the ball and maybe a little momentum?
Yeah, anytime you can kind of settle everybody back down, I think it's huge. Offense had a great drive going and throws an interception, and when you hit the field and you can go out there and go TFL interception, I think everyone goes, okay, we're good, right? Let's calm down. So doesn't matter when in a game, but obviously a big momentum, especially on the road, right? You going into another team's territory, and you can go in there and just kind of settle everybody back down and get our feet back on the ground. I think that's huge. And timing is everything in this sport. So I love the way he's playing. And we mentioned it all year. He's playing his best football. He's making plays every week, being disruptive, and great to get his hands on. I blame Scott Nelson. I told him if he stays on his feet, I think Noah scores. So we got to get on Scott a little bit.